guys, I am back, and today we are going to be doing another palette bingo with the palette bingo palette that started it. This is my Huda Beauty New Nude palette, and I really wanted to play with my eyeshadow today, and I've done palette bingos with most of my palettes that I feel would be fun to do them with. I have a couple like 9-pan and 4-pan palettes, and I'm like, that's not exciting when like 3 of the shade, like my Amber x9, that's not an exciting palette to do a palette bingo with. So I thought it would be fun to dip back into this. I haven't really dipped into this since probably that video where I did a palette bingo with this. And so, because I used this a ton in my freshman year, it was one of the 2 palettes that I brought with me both quarters. And so I thought that it would be fun to dip back into this since this past year I've been so obsessed with my Rose Gold Remastered or my Tati Beauty Textured Neutrals or my Pan That palette. So I thought that this would be fun to dip back into and see how different the look is. I believe I still have my picture from the last palette bingo, so at the end I want to do kind of a comparison to see how different the looks turned out. But I'm going to be randomly generating 4 shades. I have a random number generator on my laptop, and so I'm going to be doing that really quick. You know that feeling when you have like a hair on your arm and you can't find it but you can feel it? Anyways, so yes, we're going to jump right in and randomly generate 4 shadows from this palette. So I start where Bear is number 1 and Teddy is number 18, so it's 1 through 6, and then 7 through, what would that be, 13? I think. That sounds right. 7 through 12. So smart, I can count. So I'm just going to quickly randomly generate 4 numbers. 4, which is the shade Fantasy right here, which is these like kind of, I believe Beauty News describes them as like hamburger shades, but the ones that are kind of like a bunch of different like marbly colors are kind of hard to tell what they look like in the pan, but in person it is just this beautiful like pink with a gold shift, kind of a warmer toned pink, kind of almost leaning a little bit orange, at least in this lighting, rather than like a purpley toned pink. Then we have 1. Okay, that's boring. I might roll 5 shades. 1 is Bear, which is a matte cream shade. Very exciting, I know. Then we have 11, which is Infatuated, which is one of the glitters. Okay. Okay. Oh my god, sometimes the words that come out of my mouth. This is like the lighter of the 2 glitters. It's more of a pink than a red. Oh, I should have gotten a paper towel before I came and did this, shouldn't I have? So that's what that looks like. But do you see this leans a little bit more purpley, where this is a little bit more like almost peachy undertone? We'll make 8 and 18, which is Teddy. Do we want to go for another one? Is that what we want to do with our life? Let's do one more. 12, which is Kinky. Which is like a burgundy metallic. This is the only like quote unquote normal like standard metallic shade in the palette. And this is just like a pretty burgundy shade. Okay, so I'm gonna go wipe off my fingertips and jump straight into the application portion of this video. Okay, so in case you're curious, I have primer, foundation, concealer, blush, and bronzer on, but I don't have, and brows. I don't have any eye primer. I don't really feel like fussing with eye primer right now, so I'm just gonna go straight into Bear on a big fluffy brush, and I'm just going to fluff that. Sorry, this setup is a little bit different than normal, but making it work. I'm just going to fluff that in the crease, in case anything on my lid from like foundation and concealer isn't set as well as I want it to. And then I'm going to go in with the shade Teddy, which is the matte brownie kind of shade we rolled in, and I'm just going to start fluffing that in the crease. This was a palette that I really lusted after. It was something that when I saw it, the color story really spoke to me. And I know not everyone loves pinky nudes like this, so I completely understand if this palette is not your cup of tea, but I just thought it was so pretty. I had really wanted to try. This is also, I don't know if they had come out with the remastered rose gold palette yet, but I know that the original rose gold palette had been discontinued. The Desert Dusk palette is stunning. I think it's beautiful. I just think that it is not, like, I'm not going to get good use out of it. Like, I'm never going to dive into it the way it deserves to be dived into, just like their retrograde palette, I want to say. It's like a kind of solar-y themed palette. I'm just really blending this like up onto the lid and like it high on my crease, really diffused. And I'm gonna go back in with Bare and just kind of go over the edges, make sure it's not too intense. But yeah, this was a Christmas present, and it was funny because my sibling got it for me, but my mom like had encouraged them because she knew how much I loved this palette. And so I was like, oh, the new Nude palette. I had gotten like some Christmas money or I had gotten something. Like I had had some sort of money burning a hole in my pocket. Like I tended to be that kid who would, I mean, this is when I was in high school, but I've always been that person who will save and save and save and save and like really lust after something and then just be like impulsively like take the plunge after kind of wanting it for like 8 months. But there's no real like trigger that makes me like go for it. I'm just taking Teddy on a small smudger brush and running it on my lower lash line. Anyway, so I was like kind of talking about how I was gonna buy it. Oh, I think it was the Sephora VIP sale, because that's usually in like November. And my mom was like, oh no, it's out of stock. And I was like, that's weird. I'm looking at it on Sephora right now and it's not out of stock. And my mom was like, oh no, it's out of stock. And she was kind of insistent. And so then that sent a signal to me like, don't get it. This has already been purchased for you. And so it was funny because my mom had just taken my sibling like the week before to go get it for me, or like a couple days before. I don't know when it was, but it was funny. I was like, really, Mom? It's out of stock? Because I'm looking at it on Sephora right now. And she was like, oh no, I was really certain it was out of stock. I'll always remember that. Then I'm gonna go in with the shade Raw on that same fluffy brush, just like 1 or 2 taps, and I'm just gonna focus on the outer corner. But I am bringing it out like into my kind of outer corner area, really smoking out my eyeshadow. I have no plans today, so we're playing around with eyeshadow. And my friends may think I look like a crazy person. Oh, do not do that, Jasmine. But it is okay. I'm not sure when this is going up, so in case you're curious, this is me pre-moving into my LA apartment, so timing is weird. I kind of want to talk about things, but I have a get ready with me video planned where I talk about everything, and so I don't want to say things that will probably have already been said. One thing I do think I can say in this video, I love saying like, oh, moving to LA, because I feel like such a stereotypical influence, like moving to LA, like once you become famous, and I'm like moving because I got an internship, like it has nothing to do with YouTube, and so I just always, I think it's so funny every time I say it on my channel. I'm gonna go in with Fantasy on the lid with just my finger, and I'm gonna tap this kind of all over the lid. For a while I wasn't sure how I liked pinks on my eyes, and I still don't think that they're my favorite tone, but they're fun. Now I'm just gonna take Kinky on a little bit of a flat, like smudgy kind of packer brush, and I'm going to wet it with my Catrice Matte Finish Prime and Fine. And I'm just going to run this along the inner corner of my lower, like the inner half of my lower lash line. Ooh, that kind of burns my eyes. Not the shadow, it's the setting spray. It is like pure alcohol. Not one of Catrice's better products in my opinion. See, putting them together, the two metallics, so Fantasy and Kinky, kind of look the same on the eyes. And then I'm just going to take that raw shade on the smudgy brush and drag it along my lower lash line and smudge it into the burgundy shade. And then I'm just going to take a little bit of the burgundy shade and pat it where Fantasy meets the mattes. And then I'm just going to take the tiniest bit of Infatuated, the shimmer, and I'm just going to take that same little smudgery brush and pick some of it up, and I'm going to lay it on top of the lower lash line burgundy bit and on the center of my eyelid. This is definitely a look. I don't know how I'm feeling about these choices I've made, but I feel like this is one of those, it'll look much more cohesive when you have mascara on. I think I'm done with eyeshadow. I'm going to stop, pause filming, finish off my face, and then come back to talk about what I've done. Hey guys, I am back, and here is the finished look. I am wearing a lot of lipstick. This is the most lipstick I've worn in like a year, so other than that, I mean including that, I'm really loving how this look turned out. I think this is one of those looks that once I put on mascara and a little inner quarter highlight, then it felt complete. When I was looking at it, when it was just eyeshadow, I was like, oh, this is a lot of eyeshadow. But like once I have everything, then it balanced a little bit more. And I did want to quickly show some better pictures of this look in better lighting, and then also some pictures of my last look with this palette, doing a palette bingo. And I do feel that the looks are very different. The last one's very like, oops, I have like a cute like mauvey goldy eye, and then this one's like, I have on a lot of eyeshadow. So I think that they're both very different, but both very beautiful, which just kind of goes to show that like this palette kind of looks like just a whole lot of pinky browns, but it does have some versatility to it. I'm really happy I've been holding on to this and got to play with it today, and this was a fun revisit for palette bingo. So that is everything that I have for today's look. I hope that you enjoyed it and that you will come and visit me back for another video. If you like palette bingos, or you want to see my last palette bingo using this palette, make sure to check out the description box down below for my palette bingo playlist. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of that jazz, so that I can see you in a future video uploaded. That is everything I have for you today, guys. I hope you're having a wonderful, wonderful day wherever you are. Thanks, guys.